Chapter 3 The Five Messengers of Nalas Nalanda. 3 dwellings stood outside the door on a mission to protect an ultimate energy space within and talk to each other. The area around them is nothing special like other places in paradise, with iridescent lights radiating from the rocks, plants, and flowers, blending and radiating light to all the surrounding planets. The beauty of the aura and the purity of peace are normal things on this planet. Even children feel bored. This contrasts the world people live in, because people only hope that after they die, their souls will return to heaven. They think they will be immortal when they live in paradise, free from suffering and sorrow, and enjoy this peaceful world. This shows that all people inside of them are souls dwellings. They have forgotten all their roots and no longer have any memory of their homeland, paradise. They don't know that the children in heaven long to be incarnated as humans to practice in the human world. They need to remember their mission. As the 3 adult dwellings were talking, they discovered from afar the silhouette of the first dwelling approaching them. They immediately stopped talking, adjusted their clothes to be more dignified and look more majestic. In a moment, Nalas Nalanda stood before them. The 3 dwellings leaned forward to greet him. "Father, do we need to open the door?" He nodded and said, "Please, go yak and fab here. Then everyone comes inside. I will talk to you." Right after that, the 2 dwellings went to invite the other 2 dwellings to come. One opened the door to let him in. When the door is opened, golden rays of light shine outside. This is the most unique type of light in the universe. Nothing can describe the feeling of having that light shine on your body. The body becomes warm, peaceful, and full of vitality. Besides, golden energy particles floating inside the door were revealed when he stepped inside. Inside is a vast space containing shiny yellow super energy particles, which are the smallest super energy particles. After closing the door, the remaining dwelling followed him inside, and they both looked at the space containing this unique super energy. The 2 did not say the word to each other, and they continued to look at the super energy particles. They float, keeping an even distance from each other without jostling, because they always rotate around themselves. The light from them blends to create the splendor of the aura in this space. Suddenly, in a tranquil and peaceful space, mixed with their magical aura, the door opened and 4 dwellings entered and approached him. They leaned over and bowed to him. They all continued without saying anything in this magical space, seemingly feeling the achievements of the practice, their experiences of suffering, and the transformation of the original yin and yang embryo in themselves. After a while, Nalas Nalanda said to the 5 villains, "Sit down. Now I want to talk to you." When they sat down opposite him, he immediately asked, "How do you feel in here?" "We feel peaceful, free, pure, warm, full of life. Nothing can disturb us while staying in here," all 5 villains said together. Next, he gently explained, "To have purity, peace, freedom, no more afflictions, it is the result of experiencing suffering in the human world, then transforming all the suffering and reforming the yin and yang embryo within oneself. As a result, the yin and yang embryo becomes the filter, the machine that produces super energy particles. One of the super energies is the iridescent yellow super energy that you are seeing. This super energy is the main energy source to ensure the whole universe is active and alive. You know, to have super energies to operate and maintain the sustainable development of the universe, we must have a responsibility. The mission of experiencing suffering in human life to transform the yin and yang embryo into an energy filter. However, so far, only I have achieved the filter that produces super-energetic particles. So there is not enough energy to supply the movement of the entire universe, especially to protect the universe from the attack of destructive energy from outside." A villain immediately said, "I have observed and calculated that now is the best time for you to continue incarnating into the human world. Because some villains are already qualified to transform the yin and yang embryos into stable filters, they need you to direct them to help them transform successfully. I want you to look into that matter." He immediately replied, "I accept your request. Moreover, it's time for me to transform into a human to upgrade the yin and yang embryo again. At that time, I will produce many new types of super energy, which will help protect and develop the universe better than it is now." The 5 of them rejoiced and said, "It is wonderful. There will be many talents who will become enlightened beings when Father directly guides them in the human world. They will be glad to know this fact and to meet Father in the human world." Yes, they will be delighted and happy for that, and this will help many other talents to release all the toxins in their souls. He replied. All 5 talents looked at each other with surprise and asked him, "Father, could there be people who don't like your presence in the world?" "Yes, those are the toxins they need to release from their souls. This is very good for them because then they will learn to control the energy groups as they interact with them, and they will be qualified to transform the embryos of yin and yang. He replied. The 5 talents immediately said, Please explain more for us to understand. He looked at each of the talents around him in turn and said, Today, I will thoroughly explain the function of each of the talents in all of you, and then you will unite as one and understand what I have said. Job, you are an adult intellectual spirit talent. You have been chosen by me as one of the 5 messengers for me. I name you Job. Your task is to observe all the talents incarnating as humans in the human world, and each talent will be in a body. I call it a soul. You watch the vibration of the negative energy particles in each soul. When they vibrate beyond the threshold, they tend to sow conservatism, clinging, and arrogance in what they have or do not, wisdom, love, and action. Then you must have them release all their toxins in the negative energy particles, especially their original negative particles. That is, you transmit more information and create the right environment to captivate and fascinate the nature of the toxin to be fully revealed. Even if they suffer because of the toxins in the souls, you must continue to help them to release the toxins. You are not allowed to prevent the poison from releasing because of love and arrogance when you see them suffer. They cannot transform the yin and yang embryos if they don't remove all the toxins. As a result, they will be disintegrated by the destructive energy. Their toxins are active in all the interacting situations of human life, so you must not leave out ingredients to increase their suffering and their ability to force detoxification. As a result, there is not any talent that without your help to force out the toxins of attachment, conservatism, and arrogance. Sun, you are also a mature talent. I name you Sun. Your mission is to have the talents practicing in the human world reveal all the natures of impulsiveness, impatience, winning and losing, killing each other and killing other species. The toxins in each talent are secrets. They are countless, and they will explode in environments with extreme pressure, compression, and in possessing, or without possessing, in love, in intelligence, and actions. You must carefully observe all souls in human bodies in the human world. When the negative energy particles in them vibrate beyond the threshold, they tend to become out of control through behaviors such as impulsiveness and impatience, winning and losing, and killing. Then you have to add more environment and information to help them have more pressure on them. When they develop toxins related to that toxic tendency. They can identify them after experiencing suffering. They will eventually learn how to force the toxin out of their dwellings and transform the yin and yang embryos. All the dwellings practicing in the human world are the objects you must help, and the toxin related to your mission in the dwellings are countless. Their toxins will erupt in all interaction situations in the human world, so you need to observe to help them. Hoang, you are also a talent with many achievements and maturity. I name you Hoang because your mission is different from Chấp and Sân, the toxins that need to be removed from all the dwellings that Chấp and Sân are helping them with are easy to see. However, your task is to have all dwellings practicing in the human world to force out the most difficult to detect toxins in the yin energy particle system and the root yin particle of each dwelling. When each dwelling is practicing in the human world from clinging, arrogance, conservatism, superiority, impatience, impulsiveness, and killing, the most unrecognizable poison is hatred. The poison of hatred in each dwelling is hazardous and can kill countless people and countless lives when each dwelling explodes toxin. Because the dwellings must get rid of this toxin if they want to grow and survive in this universe, you must increase the material and environment to help them release the poison of hatred. When they release this toxin, they will recognize it after experiencing suffering, and eventually they will learn how to transform the yin and yang embryos. All dwellings have this toxin, more or less depending on the secret information in the original negative particle of each dwelling. 5. You are also a mature dwelling. I named you 5. Your mission is the same as my other messengers. However, your task is to be selective about the objects of dwellings to help them. That is, whenever there is any dwelling in the human world who researches, applies any method, or works for any purpose, whether good or bad, at that time, you must transmit more information to them to create an environment to help them release this toxin. That is the kind of toxin contained in the dwellings when incarnating as humans, and it will be released in any living situation in its life environment. When it breaks out, it is destruction, dividing unity, spreading ignorance, uniting ignorance, causing murder. Then help them release all these toxins when they only vibrate beyond the threshold until those toxins are forced out of the dwelling. Specifically, in religions and forms of practice in the human world, when people use meditation to find peace, seek and learn about miracles, mantras, and methods of saving sentient beings, give them what they need, and praise them for their extraordinary approach. Thus, the poison within them will be released, and they will realize that poison after they have finished experiencing suffering. They will eventually learn how to transform the yin and yang embryos. Yak, you are like my four messengers of dwelling. You have grown up and have many achievements. I name you Yak. Your task is to help all dwellings practicing in the human world reveal the toxins in the yin energy system and the root yin particles. Your task is selective. You focus only on the toxin that tends to be intellectual. Observe all people. See if they have a poison in the dwellings that symbolizes intellectual arrogance or not, a poison that symbolizes intellectual inferiority. You help them by spreading more information, creating more living environment for them to release that toxin. Specifically, you create information so that people who are proud of their intelligence are satisfied, from which they will develop the poison of arrogance and think they are intelligent. Create information to help people with low self-esteem about lack of education and knowledge. The toxin that emerges is that they are self-deprecating with no intelligence. When they suffer, they will recognize this toxin and eventually learn how to force it out and transform the yin and yang embryos. Praising and criticizing the wisdom of every talent in the human world is the task you must do. Hey, children, please unite all of your tasks into one whole. Next, close your eyes and feel the poison of each dwelling that has been, is, and will be activated when incarnated as the human in the human world to practice. Imagine how the environment will manifest when all those toxins are released in all circumstances. While 5 of his messengers focused on connecting and visualizing what he said, Nalas Nalanda raised his hand to hold the shiny golden energy particles before him. The wondrous light from the superparticles radiated and merged with the aura emanating from him, adding to the magnificent beauty of this special space. He looked at the super energy particles and said in his mind, "One day soon, you will become stronger. That strength comes from the enlightened ones who are nearing completion." After a moment of silence, the 5 messengers opened their eyes, looked in his direction, and said, "Father, if you do not create an environment for all the dwellings to be incarnated as practitioners, the dwelling will never force their toxin out. It is truly miraculous that you have created in the human world. We have a wish, that is, please allow us to be incarnated in humans with you soon. We also want to squeeze out all the toxins and successfully transform our own yin and yang embryos." He nodded slightly and said, "I agree with your request. Please prepare everything for this incarnation and complete the squeezing of the toxin as well as the transformation of the yin and yang embryos. With Nalas Nalanda's consent, his 5 messengers could not hide their joy and happiness because it was the best chance to attain full enlightenment.